Hello and welcome. Today, I have Kelly back for another chat, and we are going to be talking about a few different things around the world, and also the Dr. David Martin documentary, which was a two hour video, which touches on the patents of the how should we say it, Kelly? The the patents that have been
the
that have,
the the patents for the fake illness
yeah, for the different
or for the
illnesses and the studying of the illnesses and the
yeah,
fake illnesses, and also not just that, but also the cure, we'll call it the cure for the illnesses as well.
right, right.
Yeah. So welcome, Kelly. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to
That's
be
good.
back.
Yeah, good to have you back. And you had a bit of a holiday, did you?
Yeah. Well, I had an abscess tooth.
Oh
And
yeah,
then I just left town for a few days.
right. And you got
Yeah.
the tooth fixed up?
Yeah. No, I can't get, I mean, the swelling is gone, but my whole face was swollen on one side from that
Right.
stupid bad tooth. But I can't get in the dentist for 2 weeks, so
And was
I have to wait.
I had something similar a few years ago where I didn't know what it was, and I used some mouthwash, and that kind of kind of made a little bit of a difference. But after I stopped using the mouthwash because I ran out and I couldn't be bothered buying any more, it just got my gum started to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was due to fly somewhere, and I didn't have time to. I managed to go to the dentist like the day before, and they said you might need to go to a root canal, and long story short, I didn't get the root canal because I didn't really need to in the end, but I did get it checked out for that. But what had happened was that because I got this gum disease, my yeah, my gum just started swelling up, and just I got some food in there or something, and yeah, it wasn't very nice. But
Yeah, yeah. I hate teeth problems.
yeah, they can be a real hindrance, and this is something that we'll
Yeah,
go into in another video when we talk about root canals when we both watch the watch the documentary. But but yeah, it's
right.
like most things. They tell you to treat your teeth in a certain way or take certain options, uh, which only create more problems, and then it just costs you more money, and it also puts your health at risk.
Yeah, very much.
Mm. But that's the topic for another time. So today we're just gonna
Right.
touch on we're going to talk about this documentary, but first let's have a little bit of a chat about what's happening in the world because there's so much going on, and especially here in Australia now, the city I used to live in, Melbourne, they've just gone into a 5 day uh, lockdown situation. And what they usually do, because they've had so many of these things now, uh, they're very well organized, and so what they do is that at 7 p.m. on the night before, like literally 5 hours before they go into lockdown, they've organized to meet at this
Yeah,
certain spot in the city every night of the day of the night before. So uh,
right.
yeah, and
For
so there
a
was
protest.
yeah for a protest, and there was a lot of people. I didn't get to see all the pictures of everything, but I saw videos, and it
Great,
seemed like there was a lot of people. So that's really good.
great.
The only I mean that because they've had such a bad time there, that they're well organized. I could imagine if the same thing happened in my city, nothing would happen, because we just don't have the
Right,
we just don't have that haven't had that same experience, fortunately or unfortunately. And
right.
I think for one of my friends who I do some videos with sometimes, Dale, he's always saying like it has to get a lot worse before people wake up, but it just doesn't seem like the people in Australia are really kind of they're still very asleep.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I wouldn't think that they're more complacent and easily persuaded, but maybe they're just afraid to use their voice.
Well, it's
you
probably a
know?
combination of factors, and but with that in mind, it was really good to see France and Greece. You might have seen some of those videos or photos. They've kind of
Yeah,
erupted recently, and they had a few announcements regarding the thing, and they took to the streets, which was really
right.
great to see. And one video I saw was
Yeah.
all these police literally walking backwards. Did you see that one? As the crowd moved
No,
forwards, the police just kept backing up, and that was interesting.
kept falling back. That's cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
but
Right.
then I heard that they used some water cannons or something to disperse the crowd. But in the early stages, they were very
Oh,
powerless, and that's really one of the biggest things, one of the biggest lessons that we need to kind of learn in this situation is that we are so many people, and if we do have power in numbers, and we do have the strength
yeah,
if we choose to find it and use it.
right. Absolutely.
Mm. But
And the weather all around the world has been interesting too.
oh, it's been crazy. Yeah. What have you seen so far?
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like worldwide rain. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole world's getting rain all at once. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Or a lot
Yeah.
of it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen mudslides in India and obviously they had the Japan one. The floods in China, floods in we had flash flooding here. You know, London was really flooded out, New York, loads of places, lots of Europe.
Right.
It really seems like one of the videos I watched today,
Yeah.
the person said it's like if you ever thought of like we're in the end times, if now is probably the time. You can see it's just like there are fires in some places too, and
Yeah.
then bushfires, and they've got flooding, and then people are
Right.
rising up, and there's just so much going on. You've got civil unrest
Right.
in Cuba and South Africa, and
Yeah.
there is just
And
a heap going
earthquakes.
on.
Did you?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't know
And
it. Didn't know
the
about that.
earthquakes in California. California
Okay.
had like a 6.4 and a 6.8. And like just a few days before
Did
that,
you see that? Did you see that?
Yellowstone
Did you
had
see
a
that?
6.2.
Did you
I
see
did see that. The
that?
little orb.
Yeah, that was really. It
Yep.
went kind of up there somewhere.
Yep. Like you got Tinkerbell in there with you. You got fairies.
Yeah, actually, funny you should mention fairies because
But yeah, Yellowstone.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
There's just so much going on. Oh, we'll finish talking about uh, the earthquakes first. I'll talk about the fairies thing afterwards. But
Well, that was crazy.
yeah, it just seems like
Yellowstone. Yellowstone Park is a super volcano
oh, okay.
that has
Oh,
laid
right.
dormant for
Yeah, yeah.
hundreds of thousands of years. And they had a 7.4 earthquake. That's a big deal. I mean, that could block out the sun if that volcano goes off.
Wow.
That
Okay.
would be, that in itself would be worldwide catastrophe.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, I mean, it seems to be waking up. So yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
not hopefully it's not one of those really big eruptions where it blocks out the sun or anything, but
Yeah.
because that could be catastrophic. But at the same time, if it was going
Yeah.
to happen at any time, it probably would be happening now, wouldn't it? Because just so much going on,
Right.
whether it's manipulated or
Yeah.
quote unquote natural, and even in the natural sphere of things happening, it's only happening because of the way that we've been treating the planet or the plane or whatever you want to call it in the first place. If we were harmonious, a lot of these things wouldn't be happening.
Exactly. Even if we were just harmonious with one another, this wouldn't be happening so bad. It's all about, because it's collective consciousness and our
Mm,
energy and the earth's energy pulse are symbiotic, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just us all being upset and protesting and, worried about the illness and the jab and whatever else. I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it's hard to focus, people need to bring it in and
It is.
breathe,
Yeah,
breathe it
I've
out
definitely felt it
and be
very
calm.
difficult to focus over the last week or two, probably. I've been
Oh,
really,
me too.
really
Yeah.
kind of feeling quite restless and
My friend, yeah, my friend Kimberly and I were talking about that, how we didn't know if it's like new moon energy or what, but we just felt restless and kind of in a funk. Just
mm,
strange this past week. It's been a strange week.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, glad I'm not alone then. But
No.
you know what? I also think that at this kind of juncture where we're at now, I'm really failing to see the the importance of anything other than gaining our freedom. You know,
Right.
I'm like every morning I wake up, I'm like,
Right.
what can I do? You know, what can we do as a collective to kind of push humanity forwards to really becoming free from this thing, these shackles, these invisible shackles that are being placed on us? Because, in my opinion, in my mind, there are many other important things, of course, but we are kind of at a loss if we can't be free ourselves. Then it's like you have to help yourself first before you can help anybody else, right? So we are
Right.
not able to really utilize our strength to go and do all these other great things if we don't first
Right.
ourselves. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, that's the whole point of me doing of my first course that I'm doing on my website, being about self-love, so that we can really understand like who we are and what our power is, and regain that strength and that independence for ourselves first. And then, just like you're doing when you wake up every morning, and that's what you're thinking of, you're putting that energy out there, you're actually doing work for people and you don't realize it, just because you just keep staying focused on that all the time. You're
Right.
feeding energy to that and it spreads like wildfire. And then, somebody else within your collective consciousness, your quantum field, is going to pick up on that. And then they're going to start thinking about it, focusing on it. And then we all become empowered together,
Yeah.
and it just spills over. It's really perfect what you're doing, staying focused and staying energized with it. Because it really, I mean, we feel like we're just one person, but just you staying so focused and driven with it is going to change everything. One
Right.
person can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do
So
agree.
good job.
Thanks. But no, I do agree. But it's also really good to see like just the collective, because like
Yeah.
when a group of people over here start doing something, they're all thinking the same way. Like you just said, it's a collective consciousness that can easily spread so fast. And if we're already seeing it in certain parts of Europe, and I know Germany had really big protests last year, maybe even this year too, and London's been having huge ones as well. So it's like that whole area, part of the plane, uh, is is on an energetic,
Yeah.
is on an energetic field that people in my country
Yeah.
aren't necessarily at where at. Some
Right.
parts are, mm. But
Right.
it is contagious, and I think that we really need to remain, positive, but also in that non-complacent kind of uh, mindset where
Yeah.
you know
Driven.
yeah, driven. We're not just gonna things that just lay back and let things happen, or wait for things to
Yeah.
happen. We do really need to be proactive, because being reactive is what got us into this
Yes.
mess in the first place.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So have you been tapping into anything recently? Like, what do you think? What are you feeling right now? And where do you think we're at, and where do you think that we could be going in the next few weeks?
Well, honestly, with like Maricopa County in Arizona having
Yeah.
their Senate hearing today,
Yeah. Don't say the A word.
And
Don't say the A word. I think everybody knows what you're talking about.
okay, okay, all right, gotcha. But with that happening, I mean, that's a Senate hearing. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And then the documentary that you were talking about, video, not documentary, that you were talking about with the gentleman that was testifying about the patents
Right.
on the illnesses and cures and all of that. That video was actually him doing testimony, real testifying in an
Right.
international human. How was it? International crimes against humanity court
Correct. Yeah. Oh,
is
that's what
where
it
he was
was. That's what it was
testifying.
for, was it? Okay.
Yes, that's what it was. And that's huge. That's a big deal because those people, those judges that listen to that, once they make their decision, then they can make the ruling for who gets arrested and what their punishment is going to be and so on and so forth, and that's international. And they mentioned,
Okay, great. They
uh,
did mention that at the end. I remember
they
them
mentioned
talking about it at the end.
and they implicated the CDC and WHO and Fauci. Lots
Yeah.
of people were implicated, and
Okay.
he had all of the evidence in front of him, like every bit of the evidence, and I was just like,
yeah, that
that's
was
a
a
big
really
deal.
it was
So,
it was. And if anybody hasn't seen that documentary,
yeah,
Kelly and I will probably link it to in our telegrams. I don't know if we should link it at the bottom of this video. It might get
yeah,
pulled down, but we'll link it to our
right.
telegram. I think I already have put it
They
in
get
my
flagged.
telegram, but it's a 2 hour
Yeah,
documentary by the same guy. I don't want to say the word. You just can't say so many words on this platform. But Dr. David
I
Martin
know.
and a few other doctors did a video last year.
Testimony.
Yeah, about it. And Dr. David Martin he's for the last 20 years or so, he's been studying these patents, hasn't he?
So I think he said 30. That's his job.
Right.
Like his
Okay.
job description is the auditor of like patents or something, right? So he looks at this stuff every day for the last 30 years or so.
Yeah, he definitely
Yeah.
knows his stuff.
And he said
go on.
in his statement, he actually said that 20 years ago he did testimony somewhere else to try to warn of what could happen that did happen in 2020.
Yeah, could you
like 20 years
ago explain that to
he
me?
was trying to warn about it.
I didn't really understand that. Like, what was
Because they were already creating the patents on it then.
Right. But for different
They
versions,
were working
for
on
different
it
versions
then.
of it, right? Yeah.
They tested it on dogs and they tested
For
it
this?
on rabbits.
For this or the illness?
20 years ago. Both. For both.
Right,
For
but not
both.
not the same version that appeared in 2019, 2020. It was previous. It was like a different strain or something, wasn't it?
Because it's a 19 and there's actually like 21 of them total. And so that's a variation.
Oh,
but there's a patent on all 21 of them or however many there are now. And there's a patent on SARS also.
Yes. Well, yeah, that one. They said that they created that one.
Yeah, that was what they were mutating the variations of this one that we have now from.
Sure.
Yeah, but he tried to warn 20 years ago. This is a biological weapon, and he got dismissed because he only stayed within the United States, trying to warn about it then.
Right. Well, they already knew. I'm sure the people that he tried to warn already knew. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But yeah, 20 years ago, he was trying to warn that it could be this bad. And he also testified that the CDC and some other places were bought off because they had originally, the patent office denied the patents. And
What do you mean denied?
The CDC paid off. The patent office denied it and said,
"Oh, they wouldn't allow to patent
this, so you can't patent it." Oh,
yeah,
right. They weren't going to allow them to patent it again.
Yeah.
But the CDC bought off the patent office to get it over, the judgment overrode, appealed, or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, they took it upon themselves to get it patented anyway. And Bayer Aspirin Company, Bayer, Bayer.
Yeah, I know
They
them.
also were mentioned as being involved in it.
Right. Okay. Yes, very interesting. Essentially, they've been studying these illnesses, which we saw appear last 2 years ago now.
Mhm.
They've been studying them for a long time. There are many different versions, and they not only they've been studying, but they're working out how to make them worse and more contagious and more deadly. And then it came out that exactly a month before the first outbreak, they had already started working on the cure, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
But
The month before.
Yeah. But what's even crazier is that I think it was 2005 or 2008, they already came to the conclusion that these things were there was nothing crazy deadly about them. They were really kind of not necessarily benign, but they weren't as deadly as they're saying, right?
Right. It was mainly like a cold, but the patents that the man was testifying about proved that they were targeting the lungs and trying to make it very dangerous and harmful to the lungs. The patents proved that was what their specific goal was to make it a very bad lung illness.
Sure. Yeah.
And they did that for the dogs and the rabbits.
Right. And I think what's interesting is that, if you look back in history, and you don't even have to go back that far, pretty much every year, there's some sort of a thing. We had like the bird flu, the swine flu, they had Ebola, they had SARS,
Right.
They had all these different things that have come out, a lot of them out of China, for some reason. But, and if you look at each of them
H1N1.
specifically, H1N1, what's the other one? MERS, is it MERS?
I forget. Yes.
Yeah.
And SARS.
SARS, yeah.
When we first started hearing about SARS.
Yeah, so you could look at all these things, and I remember seeing one thing. I think it was about the Ebola one, and there was this kid that how they always, I don't even know how these things get released, but it was pretty funny. They had this mainstream media, this cameraman, and all of a sudden this kid walks in, and then he just lies down, and then the camera, and then they just use that footage of him just lying there being sick. Like you see that all the time in different instances, and it's pretty funny. I don't know how it gets out, but it does. And I've seen a lot of things like that, and I'm sure you have, and other people have as well, of things that have happened in the last year and a half of the current situation we're facing, where
Right.
people are like put into hospital beds or put on hospital beds out in the, into a little chamber or something, and then the camera follows them, and all of a sudden these people are sick and they're being rushed to hospital, and you see them setting it up and everything. Like it's just complete bullshit.
Right, because it's all staged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw this.
Somebody even proved that there's this one scene that would play on the news when all this first started, where you saw a whole bunch of dead people, caskets. You saw like a whole row of caskets. Someone proved that actually came from a movie in like 2004 or something. That was some clip from a movie that they used on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the
I mean,
first time.
such bullshit.
Yeah. No, they tend
Yeah.
to use a lot of clips from movies, I've noticed. There was one they used, oh, well, it was, I think it was around when BLM was on last year, and they said that they they shot this panoramic shot of all these different fires in the city and smoke coming up, and it turns out that
Right.
that was a shot from from the movie World War Z. So,
Really?
so yeah, they do that often. And when Bin Laden got killed,
Yeah.
they used footage from Black Hawk Down,
Right.
but they just flipped it.
Right.
It's, I mean, you can't make this
Right.
up. It's it's so stupid.
I know.
And
It's stupid.
but people lap it up, and it's interesting and funny at the same time. But also,
Yeah.
you gotta kind of wonder, like, with the amount of resources these people have, they must think we're really stupid, because they've got endless resources monetary wise. They have the ability to doctor anything. They could create their own movie of new footage if they want to, but they still use footage that's out there already. You know, uh, you know what I mean? That that
Yeah.
is
And
that is
well, I mean, why spend the money if people are going to be gullible enough to fall for it?
well,
You
true.
know,
That's a good
there are
point.
people that fall for it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
You
there
know,
are.
for a long time, there's been a lot of people that just fell for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case.
So,
That is the truth.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, but back to that documentary, or why do I keep calling it a documentary? The testimony of that
yeah,
patent guy,
yeah,
the patent office guy, or whatever he was. He was talking about how dangerous the cure part of it is, right?
sure. Yeah,
And so I got to thinking, like, maybe it's my paranoid conspiracy mind thinking, but what if there's something in that particular medicine that when they turn on all, it does something to them, it affects them, because he said it was some kind of computer code that's in it,
yeah. No, I think you hit
right?
it. I think you hit it right on the head there. I think that's been the plan from day one. So there's definitely a lot of stuff in there. I don't know if you've seen some other videos where they're talking about graphene oxide, which is one of the main ingredients. Actually, 99% of the whole thing is made up of graphene oxide, and and I don't exactly know what that does, but it's not a good thing, I think. So yeah, I think that when they do turn on the, like, that's bad for us anyway, but then it's gonna mix with it, it's gonna activate it or something, and it's gonna do us a lot more damage,
Right.
and depopulate faster, I think. And that's probably why
Right.
we haven't seen like the devastation yet, because they just haven't turned it on yet. They haven't turned on the graphene. The Actually, we shouldn't be saying those words. Five, how to do it.
Right.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll see if I can edit that out.
That's how you do it in sign language.
Yeah, but so
That's
yeah.
a G in sign language. Just your two fingers. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember, when this thing kicked off in China, and they had people just dropping dead in the street. Do you remember that, when the people walking along and then all of a sudden they just drop
That's
dead?
what I was, yeah,
And obviously
that's
wasn't
what I was
it
going to say. I
it
keep
obviously
thinking,
wasn't the cold. It obviously wasn't the cold people were getting, or
right,
this illness that's going around. It
right,
was something much much more serious than that.
right. And there were people then even that said that it was
They've
right.
been they've been talking about that for a long
But
time. They've been talking about that for a long
I
time.
know,
And
but I couldn't wrap my mind around why it would make people just drop dead like that. Though.
but I
Like
think
they
if it's
scream in pain and then they just dead.
yeah, but
Okay, but
if
if
it's
it's
strong
in
enough, then
if it's in your thing,
well,
see what I mean?
Here's the thing. What I think here's the thing. I think there's so many ways we could take this. First of all, if the radio waves are strong enough, they could cook you from they could cook you
Yes,
because we're all water anyway.
right.
Uh, second of
True.
all, I heard that the the illness that's ravaging the world, I, ravaging the world, the illness, which is really just the government and
Yeah,
the media. They're the illness, but the
yeah, exactly.
the illness we're being led
They're
to
the
believe,
illness.
the illness we're being led to believe is ravaging the world. I heard that the uh, the flu things for a few
Yeah,
years leading up until 2019 were all actually infected with that thing as well. You know,
probably.
and
I would believe that. Yeah,
yeah. So who knows? I mean, who knows what they put in those things anyway? There's so much crap that they put in those things that
right,
you don't know how it's going to react with something. But so it's very
right.
possible that they've weaponized a lot of technology around us, or you know, and they
Yeah,
probably have in many ways.
yeah. I think they have.
But here's the thing.
That's why I'm all about.
There's a bit of a twist though with this whole thing, and Michelle Fielding, do you know her? I did a couple of I did one video with her a while back, and I speak to her quite often, and she's always talking about how there's going to be a twist to the whole thing, and basically what I'm kind of wondering, what I've surmised from my conversations with her, is that yes, there's something bad in there, but the good guys have somehow used it to their advantage. And what they're going to do is, like, instead of the five, they're going to be replacing it with Tesla towers, and that kind of energy frequency is going to activate it, and it's going to be healing for those people that have had it instead of detrimental to their health and quite possibly deadly.
Well, that would be beautiful. That would,
Yeah.
I would really love that.
So
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
so to answer your question, I mean that's a possibility. I mean, you know, to answer your question about what's going to happen to all the people that have already had it, that could be an answer. That could be one of the
Right.
answers, because,
Yeah, I hope that is the answer. Yeah,
and not only that, but
because that really,
it's also gonna upgrade them. Like, it's gonna, for people that aren't really ready for the upgrade, like certain people on this planet they're already upgrading, because of the shift in the energy and the vibration. We're already upgrading, but
right,
some people aren't there yet, and and
right,
obviously if you're getting this, then you're probably you know
not ready.
you're either fearful, or you're
Yeah,
not ready. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
yeah,
And so yeah, maybe it's going to give them an upgrade in that respect too. So I mean, so that way
yeah.
we all kind of go
Well,
in the same direction.
that would be really beautiful if that's the way that works.
Yeah, I really do
And my
hope that.
conspiracy mind is also working on the other end of that, though.
Yeah, true. But there's always a good and a bad side of everything, isn't there? So
Yes, there is. And
yeah,
we do need to be looking at the good side. So very good. Yeah.
yeah. No, we do. Uh, so yeah, it's pretty crazy. What else was in that hearing that you found interesting?
Well, thanks for putting me on the spot. Let me think about that a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, there was so much. There
um,
was so much in there, and
there was a lot. But to me, seriously, to me, the thing that I worried about the most was the people that have already gotten the cure, right? What happens to them? I was really worried about that. But to realize that it was testimony to an international court just like freaking made me so happy. I mean, like I was tickled pink all the rest of the day. I was like, oh my God, this is so huge. Like so
yeah,
huge. I hope we see all kinds of people getting picked up and arrested very, very soon.
mm, yeah. You kind of have
And
to.
oh yeah, and your original question,
What's that?
sorry, your original question was how am I feeling about where are we going? And with
Yes.
that
Yeah.
happening, plus the thing in the Senate hearing, I really feel good about our momentum. I think we're headed toward a very good future.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do too, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to face some bumpy road along the way. You know, we are going to,
Yeah.
there are always going to be challenges, and
Yeah.
so I think it's important that we keep that positive mindset, but we also do prepare for things, you know, such as, you know,
Yes.
possible food shortages, or, you know, not being having access to water or electricity.
Absolutely.
We do need to be prepared for that kind of thing.
Yes. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I love everybody encouraging people to do that. I do that on my website even. I'm going to offer classes on how to do simple things to be a prepper and to live off the land if shit ever hit the fan, or, you know, if you just want to stop being a part of society or consumerism or whatever. I want to teach people the old ways and how do you clean water, purify it so that it's drinkable. You know, there's many ways to do that. And so
Yeah, that would be very
anybody
valuable.
who encourages any kind of prep, yeah. So any kind of prep is great on my part. I mean, I have water stored, I have food stored,
Did you
you
see
know,
that?
I have
Did you see that
a
in
great
your?
first aid kit. No, I didn't see that one.
You had this. Do you have
Did
a
you get
light?
another one?
No. Do you have a light in the background?
No.
Okay. When you watch this video over, there was like a blue beam of light
Okay.
that kind of just up the top near the ceiling there, that kind of just flashed on and flashed off. That was pretty crazy.
Oh, cool. Right on. Awesome.
It's like at the top of the screen,
No,
kind
I
of
don't
like
have any.
no.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
now I'm going to really look forward to watching this one. Just so I
Yeah.
can see.
So it was about probably about half an hour in, maybe a little longer. But
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, you were talking about
Right.
uh,
I
prep
don't know.
and water
Oh, right.
purifying and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, I have a great big can of charcoal that I keep
Okay.
because charcoal is good for all kinds of stuff. You know, you can clean your water with it. If somebody eats poison berries and you need to make them neutralize their system, you put some charcoal in their mouth, make them swallow it, you know, put it in some water and drink it because it'll neutralize the poison. You know, I
Wow.
mean, there's all kinds of great uses for charcoal. Yeah,
Yeah.
great uses. And
Okay.
so you know, and I've got sugar for clotting blood and covering up big gaping wounds because sugar is a good healer of big wounds, you know,
Wow.
because
Okay.
you never know when something might happen. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's simple everyday stuff. It's not like you have to go out and buy expensive products to have on hand to be prepared. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
there's just simple stuff that everybody can do.
Yeah.
And we're going to be teaching that on the website. Lots of simple things you can do.
Awesome. And I will
And
leave
we're
a
going to
link to
figure out
that
how to,
website
we're going to figure
down
out how to,
in the description.
yeah, because we're going to figure out how to put David's music on there, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple of songs, but yeah, once I do more songs, I'll be releasing them. Actually, I had an idea with the lyrics that I read to you a few days ago. I've been working on that and how the structure and everything. So I'm really excited about that one. I think the lyrics are very powerful, and probably the best lyrics I've written.
Yes.
I've written.
Yeah. I really love them. They're very
Yeah.
powerful.
I just need to come up
Yeah.
with a good
Gave
video.
me goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I need to come up with a good
Yeah.
video as well.
Right.
Mm. But
You'll get
yeah,
it.
yeah, I might enlist the help of a friend to help me do the video.
There you go.
Mm.
And then we're going to put it on the website. We're going to be featuring David Cohen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are, no, look, I do believe we are headed for an amazing place, and that's really had before when we spoke a couple of months ago when you were talking about all the water, actually, funnily enough, the water that was possibly going to happen and flood flood different areas of the world. Do you think that's not going to happen now, or?
Right. Um, Honestly, like we were talking at the beginning of this segment about people's collective consciousness and how we're kind of like symbiotic with the earth and all the different chaotic things that are going on to keep people worried or panicked or busy. Like the more we can calm that down, I think the easier our earth changes will be overall.
Hmm.
We got to bring our emotion down to a calm, level-headed thinking, you
Right.
know,
Okay.
not all this chaos up in the air stuff. Bring it down. And the more we can bring it down, which we're already doing kind of pretty good at in most places. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're getting a lot of rain, but besides that, it's not like been huge catastrophes or anything, you know. I mean, granted, there are some wildfires and stuff going on, but
Yeah. There've been a few mudslides and
that
things
happens.
going on.
And right, a few mudslides. But I mean, those all happen anyway. It's not like it's on some biblical scale right now, right?
No, but yeah, but the
And
rain, the
and I
rain,
think
you'd have to say is definitely biblical.
it is. Yes, the rain is biblical, definitely. But the other things that are coming from the rain are not biblical scale yet. And and with the protests that we've been having and people standing up and using their voice and people like you and me reaching out to people to calm them and give them a direction to focus for preparing or whatever, or just simply understanding the truth. We're giving them the tools to bring that high emotion of fear and anger and terror down to a more
Mm.
level-headed thinking, right? And thought matters. And people are going to get sick of hearing me say that, but thought damn matters for everything we do, like
Yeah,
everything.
it does. It
So
really does.
if we can control our thoughts, yeah, instead of our thoughts controlling us, then we too can control the catastrophes that happen on our planet.
Mm.
Because what do we always say about our planet? That she's being bombarded with all these things and she's reacting to them, right? With the volcanoes and the earthquakes and this and that and the other. So if she's reacting and revolting against us when we act that way, then imagine how calm she could be if we're treating her well and treating each other well, and all of the emotions are calmer and more logical, right? It would all be a nicer balance. So then we wouldn't have to worry about major catastrophes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for this whole great awakening process to not just be beautiful for humanity as a whole, but to be beautiful for our planet as a whole
Oh, yeah,
as well,
absolutely. Yeah.
and everything that inhabits it, all of her creatures, right?
Yeah.
Like it's more than just for people. And I know you know that, but a lot of people don't understand that.
Right. Yeah. I was
So,
I caught up with a friend a couple of days ago, and I hadn't seen him. Actually, somebody I had never actually spoken to in depth before, and I know he lived in London for a while, and he's been going down the rabbit hole, very deeply for many years. And we caught up and we had a big chat about all this stuff. And I said to him, I said, how different do you think the world would be if instead of being programmed with fear and lack and uncertainty and hate and all these terrible emotions, imagine if we were programmed with love and joy and peace and abundance. Like the
right.
world would be completely different. 100% like polar opposite of what it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, we don't even have to be, not that I'm trying to correct you, just add to. it wouldn't even be programming at that point, because it would simply be nurturing and allowing who we are naturally to develop, because we're
Yeah,
all
correct.
good at our core. You
Yeah.
know, all of these children come into the world innocent and full of love and full of wonder and looking for direction, to understand our world around us. And if we just nurtured them and, embraced love more than we do now and more than we do other things, I mean, children would just naturally grow up to be beautiful souls, and then they would just naturally raise more beautiful souls,
Yep.
It would just be a gorgeous evolutionary process.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
And look, we wouldn't really need much. We wouldn't really need much in the way of a police force. We wouldn't need much in the way of
Right.
hospitals so much, because we wouldn't be so much. There wouldn't be so much
Right.
disease. We wouldn't have. There'd be so many
Yep.
things that we wouldn't really need. But it doesn't mean that those are
Lawyers.
it doesn't mean those jobs are indispensable or anything. I'm just saying that we could be focusing our thoughts and our energies on much
Energy,
more
health.
creative
Yep.
ventures and much more positive things, and it could
Right.
really, the world would just be thriving in so many ways.
Right.
Like, there would be no poverty,
Yes.
there would be no crime, there would be so many things. There'd be no homelessness, there would be no animal cruelty. There'd just be none of that.
Or it would be if there was, it would be very small, very rare. I'm sure you're still going to get a bad seed somewhere,
Sure.
but and I do firmly believe in punishing people for doing bad things, so that you can correct their behavior. I'm all for that, but I know that gets into a whole nother topic, though, of who really gets to decide what's right and wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does. But I don't forgot where I was going with that now, because I just thought about that. Oh, no, it wasn't that. I don't know. You talk, David. I done lost it.
That's all good.
I haven't a clue what I just.
No. Well, we're coming up to the hour, though, anyway. It's gone really quickly.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we should end it there and end on a high note. And so, is there anything that you'd like to say?
Yeah.
Before we leave.
Can I plug your music again?
Well, it's not released yet, so no, you can't.
I know, coming soon.
But once it is,
So
you can plug it all you like. But I will be releasing a new cover song soon. So anybody who wants to check that out, check out my music playlist.
Yeah.
And it will be the most recent upload.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
and check out my website. I have courses.
Check out Kelly's website. I'll leave a link down below. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about the courses that you currently have?
Okay, so right now I've got 2 courses that I'm offering. One is called Mastery of Self-Love, which is so much more than just learning to love yourself, because there really is a lot more to that. Healthy pride, healthy ego, clear boundaries, understanding when and why and how you should choose you over someone else or something else. And so many people have a problem with that. I mean, even I've had a problem with that. We all tend to sacrifice a whole lot more than we receive in relationships. And, whether it's with your parents, siblings, it doesn't matter who it is. We just tend to do it. And we need to learn that it's okay to say no. It's okay to have boundaries, etc. So one of my courses is on that, on self-love, mastery of self-love. The second one is about energy. And I want people to understand the science and the physics behind thought, behind the human body and what we really are capable of. We can heal ourselves. We can heal each other. We can speak through telepathy. We can do all kinds of amazing things because every single cell in our body is listening to our thoughts and responding in kind to what we think and how we feel. And so my second course is on energy because it is so very important to me that that be the foundation, that people understand how to love yourself and who the hell you really are. Like, seriously, because we're beautiful, amazing creatures, and we could do so much individually or together, collectively. We can do so much to further our happiness and our joy and abundance for ourselves and the world. And what good does it do me to know that all on my own, or you to know that all on your own, if we can't share it with the whole damn world and really try to make a difference? So that's where I'm starting with it. But then we're also going to add how to make dream catchers from all things in nature,
Cool.
how to make a bath, how to weave baskets, how to do a no-till garden, how to wildcraft herbs and make your own shampoo or household cleaners or whatever, wildcrafting herbs. And like just lots and lots of courses we're going to offer to people. And I'm really stoked about all of it. Everybody will have the opportunity to learn everything that I put on the website or that anybody else puts on the website, because we will provide a free video package for anyone that cannot afford to pay for it. Membership to the website is free. There's a forum on the website where you can go and learn. There's tons of free programs for everybody to go and do: meditation, yoga, glute challenges, all kinds of cool programs. I've really been busy building this website. There's like 19 pages to it now.
Wow. Okay.
I'm totally stoked about it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Totally stoked. Thank you. I'm really very proud of myself because I had no clue how to build a website.
Yeah.
And
you can do my
website and domain, and I own my own forum. And I'm like, how the hell did I even do this? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So yeah, everybody needs to go check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I will leave links in the description. And I, for one, would really like to know how to create your own shampoo and cleaning products, because as we know, they put a whole pile of shit in those things that are really toxic for us. And
yes,
and that goes for all cleaning products, all your makeup, your cosmetics, your face creams, sun cream, shampoos, everything. They put a lot of shit in there.
Yep.
To further their agenda.
Yeah. Interesting little side note. You mentioned sun cream. A lot of people put that SPF 50 on their kids before they go outside to play. Right? That really heavy duty sunscreen. I don't do that with my kids. If they get any kind of sunscreen, it's cream zinc. Zinc is the best sunscreen to keep your little guys, your little kids from getting burned, but it also allows them to absorb the vitamin D that comes from the sun. Those SPF 50s block the vitamin D from the sun. And that's how kids end up getting rickets. Yeah.
Getting what?
Because they're not getting their vitamin D. Rickets. Rickets is a vitamin D deficiency that affects your bones.
Oh, okay. So where do you get
little
zinc
kids
from?
in Europe. It's diaper cream.
Oh, okay.
It's baby diaper cream. The white paste butt paste that you use on babies for a rash.
No, I don't.
It has zinc oxide.
I don't have any children, so.
Okay. Well, I thought everybody knew about diaper cream, but it's zinc oxide. And I mean, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what kind you get. It all has zinc oxide. And that's what I use for my kids for sunscreen.
I'll have a look. Yeah, because that's one thing I wanted to know about, because in Australia we get a lot of sun, and you don't always, it's easy to get burnt in summer if you're not careful, and But
Right.
sometimes you want to be out in the sun for a few hours, you know, and you can't put
Mhm.
sun cream on because the sun cream that they put, all the shit they put in there, actually is will give you cancer, you know, and
Right. Right. Exactly.
and,
Yeah.
and oddly enough, if you get sun, it fights cancer. So
Yes.
they've just inverted everything. They just don't get any sun because it's going to give you cancer. Put this on instead. Like it's crazy.
Right.
Like
And
and
also the sun, if you're out in the sun and you have the flu or cold or sinus infection, anything like that, being in the sunshine, even if you sit in a window in sunshine, will help get rid of the flu or the cold, right? Well,
mm,
when we had this lockdown, when this lockdown first started, I told all of my friends, go to the tanning bed if you get sick,
yeah,
because it was too cold to be outside. So I said,
uh,
go to I'm serious, to the tanning bed. Heat kills germs.
yeah.
Heat kills germs, right? Like all the damn hospitals are freezing cold. And everybody in the world, the doctors and the
That's
nurses ought to
true.
know
That's
better than
true.
us that
Yeah,
somebody being freezing cold is going to keep them sick, not get them well, because
absolutely. Yeah,
heat is what kills germs.
yeah. That's not surprising at all
Because,
that it's been set up like that. You know, you can imagine like it's like they thought of everything. You know, there's nothing they haven't thought of that
yeah,
isn't
because
going to
they
make us
told
more
you,
sick.
yeah, but they taught us from the time we were little kids to trust the doctors, trust the nurses, trust the whoever, right? And the very people that we were taught, programmed to trust are
Mm,
unfortunately the ones that are being the worst sheeple and following these ridiculous guidelines that they went to school and learned better for,
yeah.
right? And I feel like like I don't need to put down nurses and doctors because they are good people and they all went into this profession to help people. But
Mm.
why did none of them speak up? Why did none of them question this? Really force the question. I just don't understand that. I don't understand why they didn't. Why did they all
Well,
just go along
probably
with it?
because their jobs are on the line. You know,
But
unfortunately.
when were their jobs on the line, and why didn't those people speak up? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, I know most people aren't as bold and curious as I am, but damn, you know,
Yeah.
I
You
just
know,
don't get it.
you know what doesn't make sense to me is the fact that
Come on,
the WHO and the governments of the world all convinced us that we could be sick even though we didn't have any symptoms.
that's right. That's
That's
right.
just like, you know, like why the hell? You know, think of all the times you've ever been
Yeah,
sick in your life. At least you had something. You know, maybe you had a blocked nose, maybe you had
something.
a slight small throat. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but yeah, at least you had a little bit of a sore throat. Maybe it went away the next day. You had something in that moment.
Maybe even, yeah, yeah. Maybe even just a little bit of a swollen gland, but nothing else, right? Something.
You don't get many people that are just wake up feeling absolutely amazing and go, "I'm feeling so good," but damn, I could be sick. You know,
Right. I might have COVID.
it's so
I might
stupid.
have the
It's
illness.
it's so stupid, but still people believe it.
Yeah.
Still people believe it, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that's really a topic for
And the thing with,
another time.
the thing with the face cover
Yeah.
also, that just doesn't make sense to me. People out jogging with that on, there's not a person around them anywhere, and they're wearing that to do their daily exercise. I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Oh, people are so brainwashed. Like when we had that mandate here
Yeah.
a couple of months ago, there was some people in it was in the local newspaper that some people were walking in the park, and people actually and these some they didn't have it on, and some of the people in the park who brainwashed said be more considerate for the others in the park. Like this thing's just gonna be like,
Right.
you know, all
Yeah.
of a sudden just come out of my mouth and just fly
Yeah.
around the park, you know, or
Yeah. Right. Right.
yeah. And I
How
saw
about the ridiculous, the plexiglass that's everywhere that has the little slot for your hand to go through and stuff, because you know that germ, it's only gonna go where that plexiglass is. It's not going through that slot at all. You know, that's a
No.
perfectly safe slot.
Yeah.
Because like all of our restaurants, the drive-through window has the weird plexiglass now
Oh,
that's
okay.
like halfway down, and you
Yep.
got to reach through there to get your bag of food or whatever. I'm like,
Right.
what, COVID stuff? Is it gonna like slip in? You know,
That's shitty.
it's ridiculous. It's
It is.
ridiculous.
And you know what the worst thing is? Is that when
Yeah.
people are so brainwashed,
What?
like that they take it to the next level. Like I just saw a video where this guy got on the train. He was the only person on the train without a thing on, and he was getting attacked, like literally, like physically attacked. And they got him. They got him off the
Oh my
train
God.
because all these fucking brainwashed zombies were so brainwashed that they thought they were being threatened by his existence because he was wanting to breathe fresh air.
Isn't that crazy? It's like the Twilight Zone.
Hmm.
It's so crazy. Like, do you know what the Twilight Zone is?
I kind of
Do you ever see
have,
that show?
have a bit of an idea. Yeah, I haven't seen the show, no, but I
It's
know
like where everything is just,
I kind of know
it's
about it.
just like wonky and fucked up and backwards kind of shit, you know?
Yeah,
Very, very eerie, weird how everybody's like, it's just like that two worlds thing we talked about before one time, where all of these people over here in this world, in this perception, and we're over here in this one. And it's like we're in two separate worlds, but we live in the same damn world. It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
weird.
It is
So
weird.
weird.
It is, and we do live in separate worlds. We just occupy the same space.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's so
Maybe that's what parallel dimensions
maybe,
are.
maybe. Well, I think we should leave it there, and also maybe we can talk about parallel realities and universes in another chat sometime.
Okay.
But thank you for joining me for this past hour. It's been a real pleasure, and I can't wait for the next
Yep.
time.
I loved it as usual.
All right, Kelly.
And
Have a good evening.
we're gonna try to do it live. Wait.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Before we sign off, Kelly and I are going to do a live. We'll do it next week. So I think rather than come up with a topic or anything, how about people just any questions people have, drop them. I'm going to leave I'll pin a comment below this video and just reply to that comment and drop any questions that you have in there, and Kelly and I will do our best to answer what we believe is the most important, and also ones that we can answer, because we're not going to answer something we can't. But yeah,
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
I
And
like
actually, I already have some questions that somebody posted on one of our last videos, so I'll add that to the thing, and we can
Oh, okay.
start off there. But
Yeah. What
yeah, we'll do
day?
that. We're going to be doing it. We'll do it Thursday, so the usual time that we usually do it. We'll do it Thursday at 1
Yeah.
p.m. for me. I will put a post up. So
1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
it'll be 1 a.m. East Standard in the US and 1 p.m. Western Standard in Australia. And I will put a
Right.
post giving the time and also maybe a few other time zones for people if they're depending on where they are in the world. And I'll do that
Right.
later today. So thanks, Kelly. And we'll see you
Thank
very
you.
shortly.
Bye, guys. All
Bye bye.
right.